Hello there and welcome to AM Prime on WESN Content Capital. I'm Keaton Shaw and it's wonderful to be here this morning, Friday the 8th of September. Actually, yes, I did have to glance at my calendar because time is flying by so fast. You're not really sure much anymore. But the most beautiful part of that statement is it's Friday. So welcome to the program, the last edition for the week. And as we start this morning, we're speaking about the Inspirational Women Awards Gala 2023 that honors, that recognizes the achievements of remarkable women here in Trinidad and Tobago. To discuss more about the International Women's Forum and the awards, which take place, I believe, in 1 week's time. It's due to take place on the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. I'm joined the 19th, actually, and thank you for that correction. Yes, you hear the little voice in the background. That's my guest this morning, the Vice President of the International Women's Forum, Miss Ana Maria Garcia Brooks. Hello, Miss Garcia Brooks, and welcome to the program.
Hi there, good morning. Thank you for having me on the program this morning.
Well, it's certainly a pleasure. The International Women's Forum, could you please enlighten us a bit more about your organization and what its goals are as an organization?
The International Women's Forum, Trinidad and Tobago, is part of a much larger global organization called the International Women's Forum. It's actually based, the headquarters are based in New York, and it's a global organization. There are over 7,300 members worldwide in 33 countries on 6 continents. So it's absolutely huge. The Trinidad and Tobago Forum started in 2014. So we're just shy of 10 years old, and we've got a membership of 52 women. It's focused on women who have made significant contributions, who are, as it's described, at the top of their game, either in the corporate world or, the contributions that they have made. And our focus is the advancement of women's leadership. In a nutshell, that's what it is. So we're focused on advancing leadership among women, focusing on aspiring leaders so that we help them to move up the corporate ladder or in their careers, wherever that career may take them and in their lives.
Now, in regard... Sorry, Ms. Garcia Brooks, continue.
No, I was just going to say that in a nutshell, that's IWFTT.
And that leads me to my second question. Precisely how does IFWTT, in regards to the core values and objectives, how do you actually achieve such? How do you empower women? How do you foster that empowerment?
Well, the core values are aspiration, commitment, collaboration, courage, and integrity. We work among our membership. We've got a next gen group, so we also focus on young women in other areas, other industries. We identify them, we invite them to become part of the next gen program. The IWF International has a fellows program which focuses on training executives. And we were very fortunate. A couple of years ago, 2019, I think, we nominated the first ever fellow from Trinidad and Tobago, and we were successful. She was accepted into the program, and you must understand that this program is extremely competitive because these persons are being nominated from many, many countries. And we were successful in getting Shelley Sylvester, who at the time was the operations general manager at Guardian General on the program. So Shelley has completed it. We went forward again this year in nominating Tricia Kissoon, who is the CEO of JMB Investments. And again, we were very successful in getting Tricia on the program. So that speaks to the caliber of female executives that we've got in Trinidad and Tobago, that they were able to move past, hundreds of other women who would have been nominated and been accepted on the fellows program.
Well, a small nation such as Trinidad and Tobago on the global stage, part of the global organization actually, really has made its impact and made it known that we have such a diverse accomplished, respected women here in Trinidad and Tobago who are part of this organization. But the awards, the Inspirational Woman Awards. I believe this is the second year running.
It is. It's actually our flagship program locally. We launched the inaugural program last year, and the 3 women who were honored are icons in Trinidad and Tobago. The first one was Mrs. Zalia Hassan Ali, former First Lady, Lynette Sebran Sweet, who is a very well-known attorney and advocate for human rights and women's rights in particular, and Professor Rhoda Reddock from the University of the West Indies. So they were our first 3 awardees last year. This program seeks to honor, recognize, and validate the work of outstanding women. And we recognize that, when you've got people who are doing excellent work, they're an inspiration to others. And we feel it's important for us to profile them, to show them, and to show other women what they can achieve and what is possible. Because nobody's journey is a smooth journey. There are always many, many peaks and valleys. And sharing their stories with the wider community and with women in particular, especially those who are building their careers, is very inspirational. This year, we've got 3 specific awards. We've got the Inspirational Champion Award, and that award is going to Dr. Diana Mahabir Wyatt, who's very, very well known as a champion of leaders. She has built her credibility over many, many decades. And as you might know, she is the founder of the shelter. She's done a lot of work on with battered women and children and families. So she is our inspirational champion for 2023. The other award is the Inspirational Advocate Award. And this year, that award goes to Professor Rosemary Antoine, who is the principal of the UWI. Again, Professor Antoine has been quite a fierce leader in the rights of women, health and reproductive health issues, and she has used her voice to elevate issues and bring those issues to the fore so that they could be dealt with. And the third award, which is a relatively new award, is the Inspirational Emerging Leader Award. We wanted to focus on that next generation of leaders, those younger persons whose profiles may not be very well known, they're not known publicly, but they're doing fabulous work. And their work, very importantly, is having impact. It is bringing about positive change. And that person who's receiving that award is Anika Plowden-Corentin. Anika is a visual artist, and she uses creativity to reach out to at-risk young people, especially girls. She is the founder of Chosen Hands, which is an NGO that's doing really, really good work in the various communities. And we felt that Anika was deserving of this award.
I think what is, in this position I've sat in, I've had the privilege of interviewing many remarkable women here in TNT who are making a difference. And I've had the privilege of having quite an extensive conversation with Ms. Diana Mahabir Wyatt and Professor Rosemary Antoine. And I look forward now just to interviewing this emerging leader in Anika Plowden-Corentin. I look forward to that conversation. Actually. But as we continue with this conversation this morning, if we take a look at the awards, Inspirational Champion Award, Inspirational Advocate Award, and the Emerging Leader Award, precisely, if you can, just describe for us some of the criteria that you look at, you examine when deciding this individual has ticked all these categories, they deserve the recognition for the work that they've done.
Mm-hmm. When we look at the Champion Award, we're looking at an exemplary female leader. She has built credibility over time through her actions as well as through her example, because people follow what you do. You can speak from now until the cows come home about what should be done, but people are going to follow what you do. They're looking at you. And she's made a significant contribution nationally. She empowers other women intentionally. Not just by the way, she intentionally empowers other women, and she's earned respect as a role model. And we think that Diana Mahabir Wyatt fits that bill very well. The Advocate Award, that person, as I had said before, is a fearless advocate for positive change. So she recognizes that she has a voice, she has a platform, and she's going to use both of those and other things at her disposal to bring to the public space injustices or things that need to be changed in a positive way. And she speaks out. She is courageous. She will speak out even though there may be naysayers. She's going to speak out on issues. And not just speak out, because you can have many voices just chattering. But in her speaking out, she is having impact. And she is bringing about the change that is required. And the third one, the emerging leader, we focused on a younger person. Somebody, as I said before, who may not be very well known, but is doing really significant work in various communities. And we're focusing on women who are having wider impacts. So it's not just someone in their company, that's great, and that's a great starting point. But we're looking at persons who are building communities in Trinidad and Tobago, and who are focused on building this country through their interactions with other persons and other women, of course, in particular. But the event that we're having to honor them, the Inspirational Women Awards Gala, is going to be held on the 19th of, it's Tuesday, the 19th of September, which is just about 11 days away. And it will be at the Hyatt Regency, the Port of Spain Ballroom of the Hyatt Regency. We start at 6 p.m. with cocktails, and we go straight into the awards at 7 o'clock. And we go into dinner after that, and we have an after party. So it's a celebration. It's going to be a very important celebration for us.
Well,
and for the
I was just about to say, if it starts at 6 a.m., I might not be able to make it because I'll have to be here to do the show, but I'm glad it's at 6 p.m. That's Tuesday on the 19th. But Ms. Garcia Brooks, if we take a look at the awards itself, why do you suppose, and the organization, the work that it is doing, that is the IWFTT, why do you suppose it is perhaps necessary and something that should be done to award these individuals, you know, from past, present, and those to come? Why do you think it's something that is important to do, and why has IWFTT taken this position and perhaps this responsibility?
Acknowledging good work is very important. Often you find that people would accept accomplishments of others and may not commend them, may not acknowledge them. And unfortunately, in our culture, there is a lot of that. But there are also a lot of opportunities to acknowledge the good work that is being done. But we also recognize that when someone does good work, they are an inspiration to others, and they are positive role models. And we complain a lot about not having sufficient positive role models, but we actually do. We have many thousands and thousands of positive, hundreds of thousands of positive role models in Trinidad and Tobago. Perhaps we don't take enough time to acknowledge them, to bring their good work to the fore so that others could see what is possible. Many organizations are doing that sort of thing, we acknowledge, but we have recognized that in order to advance women's leadership and to build capacity among women who are moving forward, we have to show what is possible, and we have to hold up to them persons who are inspirational and whose lives they can look at, whose work they can look at, and who can say to them through their work and through their example, this is possible. I may be starting here, but this is not where I'm going to end up. And my journey might be difficult. It might be fraught with all sorts of challenges. And there might be times when I feel that I'm really down and I can't make it. But I know that there is a tomorrow, and I will make it. And tomorrow it can be different because I will bring about the positive change. And I can bring others along with me. You know, there are people who move ahead in life, and they focus on themselves and their careers, and they do well. But there are others who do that, and they bring others along with them. So they're always looking around whatever space they occupy, whether it's in the corporate world or whatever industry, They're always looking around to see how might I help another person? How might I be a mentor for someone else so that they can get to where I am and surpass me? There are people who say, well, I had it hard when I was growing up, and when I got into my career, nobody helped me. But that is irrelevant. If nobody helped you, your job is to help others. So that is our philosophy as well. We have to bring others along with us. Sometimes it requires us pulling them up the ladder. Sometimes it requires us pushing them up the ladder. But we felt that in order to inspire them, we needed to show the work of outstanding nationals and let them see what is possible.
Ms. Garcia-Brooks, I would see it fitting that there should perhaps be another category for inspirational women speaker, and you should be awarded for all that you said. And I say that because I found it quite fitting that you suggested, there is still a lot of positivity out there, and there's a lot of positive work that is being done and even accomplished. It's not highlighted or recognized enough. So that I fully agree with, and I compliment you for that, as well as the organization for the work that they're doing in recognizing such. But as we are coming to the end of our interview, and thank you so much for joining us this morning to explain a bit more and also to recognize these three ladies for the work that they have done and are continuing to do. Could anyone attend this event? Is it open for attendance by anyone?
Absolutely, it's open. Tickets are available through the committee members. I did not bring telephone numbers, so I could probably just give mine, 620-2515. But yes, the tickets are available. They're priced at $800, and they're available, and it is open to the public. We have actually gotten requests from a number of persons asking about tickets. They're going very quickly. So we do encourage, if you are interested, you would like to come. It's a huge networking opportunity as well, because as I had indicated earlier, our members are persons who are at the top of their game. They're CEOs of companies, they own their own companies, they're senior executives. So, and our membership across all industries, from energy, financial services, banking, law, medicine. We've got women who are in all of those fields. So it is a great opportunity for networking, for meeting, for interacting with them, and of course, for celebrating these three women who've been identified this year.
And any I suppose, corporate entities or individuals whom you would wish to thank this morning for their partnership and their support?
Absolutely, and I thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to do that. We have had really good response from the corporate sector. We've got 4 platinum sponsors. There's Republic Bank, Phoenix Gas, First Citizens, and BPTT are our platinum sponsors. We've got 3 gold sponsors who are Kenson, Tatil, and NGC, and a host of bronze sponsors, JMMB, Trinray, and a host of others. So I'm really happy to be able to acknowledge all of them. Scotiabank is there. Many bronze sponsors have joined, and other contributors. Other persons have come on and said, look, I can't do your category of sponsorship now, but I really want to be a part of this. So I'm going to, contribute, and we have those as well. So the response from the corporate sector has been phenomenal, and we thank them very, very sincerely. What it says is that they recognize the importance of recognizing good work and people who have contributed to national development, and they have come on board with us, and we really want to thank them.
Well, Ms. Anna Maria Garcia-Brooks, I want to thank you very much for joining me this morning on the program for this conversation. Congratulations to the 3 awardees, Ms. Diana Mahabir-Wyatt, Professor Rosemary Bell-Antwine, and Ms. Anika Ploden Corentin. Thank you very much to you guys for all the work that you are doing, and by extension the organization for all their efforts. Well, September 19th from 6 p.m. You can look forward to the award ceremony. Thank you so much this morning.
And thank you for having us on the program. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. If you are interested in attending the event, Ms. Garcia Brooks did share her contact this morning, but you can also contact Shelly Ann at 735-5758. That's 735-5758, or email Shelly Ann J. Smith. This is Shelly Ann J. Smith, very simple, at gmail.com. You can follow IWFTT's social media pages, or you could even contact us here at WESN. We'd be more than happy to direct you towards anyone in the organization for tickets. But, ladies and gentlemen, glad that we're recognizing the positivity and the positive contributions of those in society and recognizing the achievements of remarkable women here in Trinidad and Tobago. We're going to take a break here at AM Prime. When we return, we'll get into another discussion, a bit more heated, if we take a look at the football game last night between TNT and Curacao. We'll be right back after this.
If these walls could talk, they'd cry uncle. They didn't plan to become offices or yoga studios. But they've stood by us, even when we got a little stir-crazy. For that, they deserve some thanks. They deserve Benjamin Moore.
From Maracas Bay to Arafita Avenue and Piaco, Richard's Bake and Shark brings the world's most popular fish sandwich closer to you. Open daily at all our locations.
Let the home store turn your house into a home you love. Get everything you need to give your home that special look and feel. We offer household items, lawn and garden, paint center, hardware, plumbing, lighting and electrical, toys and storage solutions. 5 convenient locations: 6th Avenue Barataria, The Falls at Westmore, Pennywise Plaza Shoguanas, C3 Center Branch and C3 San Fernando. Check out our Facebook page for more information and come visit us today. The Home Store. Turn your house into a home you love. FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
The CONCACAF Nations League A 2023 actually kicked off last night at the National Stadium, Trinidad and Tobago versus Curacao. It's an opponent that is familiar to TNT actually. I think we last played them in 2014 and we ended up winning that game 3-2. But last night's game, though it may have seemed a bit more easy on paper for TNT, it really was interesting. TNT having won the game 1-0, scoring only in the 87th minute. But to speak more on the analysis of last night's game, I'm joined by WSN's sports correspondent, Mr. Enrique Rupert. Hello, Mr. Rupert. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hi, Keaton. Morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, you were there at the game last night. As I mentioned in my preamble, it seemed to have been a much easier game on paper than it was actually played out. 87th minute waiting for that goal to be scored. Your analysis of the gameplay last night?
Yeah, I don't think it was easy on paper, and I don't think it was easy in the context of the game. Curacao dominated possession for most of the game, especially in that first half. At the end of the first half, they had 71% possession compared to Trinidad's 29%. And, you know, Trinidad really found it tough in the first half, especially from the left flank. Shannon Gomez was under a lot of pressure from Curaçao's left winger. And, you know, but as the game went along, all of the players got more and more accustomed and they got into a rhythm. And it seemed to get easier as the game went along, especially in that second half. Not sure what Angus Eve said to the players in the dressing room, but it seemed when they came out in the second half, they had a lot more intent. They had a lot more, not possession per se, but they were finding a lot more channels to be more attacking And in the end, some of Angus Eve's substitutes ended up, really paying dividends, as when they came on, they really changed the tempo of the game. And it's very interesting to know that most of these subs that came on were local-based players. So when they came on, they really brought a different type of tempo and speed to the game. And Nathaniel James ended up with a low left-footed volley, that ended up finding the back of the nets. But on paper, it was a lot harder, and during the game, it was a lot harder as well.
Well, we entered this game on the end of 2 losses in our previous 2 games. But as you mentioned, at the start of the game, and for the majority of the first half, Curacao dominated possession and dominated the gameplay. From halftime, we saw TNT being a bit more energetic and having a bit more rhythm. What do you suppose was the changes from the first half to the second half? What was seen even in terms of formation and the starting 11? Because you mentioned substitutions as well.
Yeah, like I said, when the substitutes came on, they just brought a different tempo. It seems that they had a lot more chemistry as compared to the mix of the foreign players and the local-based players. It was a lot more local-based players from the 65th minute on. So I believe that had a huge part to play in, just the team finding more channels, being a little more going towards the opponent's goal as compared to, back passes or just putting balls over the top and not really producing anything from those balls over the top.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that the cohesion between the TNT men's team, there's been a lot of news actually coming out from the TNT camp within the last week, 2 weeks, but would you say that that cohesion, that tempo really was lacking? Did it seem not necessarily inspirational?
I wouldn't say the tempo was lacking because of anything that's going on outside of the pitch, but it just seems that, because I remember in the press conference, they said that some of the foreign-based players, they only had 2 days to train, and then while the local-based players who came back from the Caribbean Champions Cup, they also came back a bit late. So it just seems that they took a while to get going, to get into that rhythm, but once they got into that rhythm, you saw that they were a lot more attacking and they were a lot more forward towards the opponent's goal. And I think more local-based players, especially when we play at home, it pays off. And you can see that from Nathaniel James, Dwayne Mockett, those local guys who are playing consistent football in Trinidad and Tobago, knowing the conditions. I think that the chemistry was a lot better when there were more local-based players on the pitch, as compared to, the mix. There was probably, to start, there were like 7 foreign players and 5 local based. And then at the second half, it was a little more even, or a little more local based players. So I believe the local based players are the core. And with Trinidad and Tobago football restarting, I think hopefully we see more local based players in the team and in the starting 11s.
Now, actually, despite our Gold Cup disappointment, Angus Eve, he was given a contract extension. He even vowed to widen the player pool here in Trinidad and Tobago, hoping to push a more young talent. Do you think that there's any sort of hint that that is taking place based off of the game yesterday? And in fact, as you've mentioned, more local-based players seem to have really made the difference. So are we actually heading in the right direction if any of those lessons were seen yesterday?
In my opinion, yesterday, the man of the match for me was Kylie Overy. He's 19 years of age. He doesn't play in Trinidad and Tobago. He plays for Kansas City Academy. But he was one of the most forward-going players yesterday. Every time he got the ball, he seemed threatening. Nathaniel James came on in the 81st minute yesterday, and within 1 minute of being on, he already went after the right back of Curacao. His speed, Nathaniel James's speed, needs to be utilized a bit more by Angus Eve. I don't think bringing him on in the 81st minute is the right call. But yesterday, the 3 players that were under the age of 23, Denzel Smith, the goalkeeper, made 3 or 4 brilliant saves. So Angus Eve trusting those under 23 players, it's a good sign to see. And hopefully we see more players under the age of 25 be incorporated into the team pretty soon.
New names emerging, new talent emerging, looking forward to that. But let's move off the pitch just for a moment, and I think the biggest news coming out in recent times was that of the Kevin Molino, and furthermore his suggestions that Angus Eve has lost the dressing room. Now, there hasn't been much commentary about it. Trinidad and Tobago players actually steered away from those questions during a pre-match press conference, suggesting, well, their messages was unity is key. Has any of the conversation surrounding Kevin Molino affected the dressing room in any way? Have we seen that at all?
Well, it didn't really reflect on the pitch. I'm not sure behind the scenes how the players feel or how they are reacting to it, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the football on the pitch for right now. We have to wait a couple more weeks probably to see how it will affect the team, how some of the selections will, go by Angus Eve. But as of right now, I don't think anything is. I don't think we have enough information from the players in the team to see that they have any issues with Angus Eve or he has lost the dressing room in any sort of way as of right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly looking forward to further developments from there, not necessarily in the good sense, but to get an idea of what is being thought of. Taking a look at the team stats now, well, Trinidad and Tobago had 33% of possession compared to 67%. Curacao had 14 shots, 3 on target. TNT only having 8 with 2 on target. Even the pass accuracy and the number of passes, Curacao dominated there. I mean, how does this reflect, given that we have a more challenging game coming up on this Sunday, against El Salvador?
I mean, at the end of the day, 3 points is 3 points. They did very well to get a result when it seemed that the game was going for a draw, or it could have been, in my opinion, 3-0 to Curacao, especially in that first half. But in terms of performance-wise, I spent a lot of time with the Phoenix Rising over the last 2 or 3 months in the second division in America, and the coach always emphasized performance, and I never really understood what he meant by it. But I think in these type of leagues where it's over a longer period of time, you need to put good performances together in order to get good results. And I think Angus Eve really needs to do some introspection into himself, especially in terms of his tactics, and really change the brand of Trinidad and Tobago football. For far too long, Trinidad and most of the Caribbean have accepted mediocrity, and I think if he changes the brand of football to have a little more passes, Trinidad and Tobago had less than 300 passes, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And over 90 minutes, that's not a very good situation to be in. They did score the 1 goal, but against El Salvador, sometimes those quote-unquote lucky breaks would not always happen. So they need to especially get better tactically.
Well, interestingly enough, I think one of the bigger talking points coming out from the game as well was the referee, Jamaican referee Parchment, actually disallowing that goal in the 42nd minute, that 1-0 goal from Malcolm Shaw, the bicycle kick. He disallowed it for infringement of play. Speak to us about what took place there.
Well, from my angle, I thought it was offside at first, but then when I saw that it was a foul, I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. But the refereeing on a whole last night was very substandard. CONCACAF needs to really put some real serious sanctions on these referees, because at the end of the day, you can't have referees, really dictating how a game goes. There were a lot of fouls last night that went against Trinidad and Tobago that should not have been fouls. There were a lot of calls against Curacao that should have been carded and were not carded. So it's really difficult to gauge how referees are going to be, especially in the Caribbean. But CONCACAF needs to really buck up on them and try to ensure that these games are called fairly and called with much better how to say thinking behind some of the decisions that they make.
Well, let's not start a debate of the introduction of VAR here right now, because that's gonna take an entire day. But also, I think for the second half, TNT going on play. Mark James tried to snatch the game away. He missed his particular goal. Ryan Moore as well also had a prime opportunity. He missed his goal. And then the referee for Trinidad and Tobago, Denzel Smith, was said to be a spectator for most of the game, even though Curacao had 8 shots, only 3 on target. 14, only 3 on target. He was called into action in the 89th minute. In fact, coming to save the play for TNT. What happened there?
Yeah, it was just a quick counter-attack and play by Curacao. And like I said, Denzel Smith, 23 years of age, to start in a CONCACAF Nations League A game, he was absolutely brilliant last night. And that last minute save in the 87th to 89th minute, it was so good. At times last night, the defense was a bit disorganized, but for the most part, they kept a certain type of organization that was a bit, weird to the Curacao players, and they did make 2 or 3 last-ditch tackles to block shots on target. But like I said, Denzel Smith was absolutely brilliant last night with some of the saves that he made and some of his goalkeeping decisions for such a young player.
Enrique, as we come to the end of this analysis, and thanks so much for bringing this forward to us this morning, lessons that we're taking from this particular game. I know you mentioned looking at a lot more young talent, a lot more home-based players, and even the rhythm and the passing. But what more is there that should be taken from last night's win in the 87th minute? Let's bear that in mind, and I think that's something that a win is a win, 3 points is 3 points, but no easy game at all. What should we do differently, even in regards to the starting 11, even with respect to the actual lineup and formation against El Salvador on Sunday?
Yeah, I think Angasiva, like I said, he really needs to do some introspection into his tactics. I think sometimes the formation he sets is a bit too defensive. Yesterday, he started off with a 4-5-1, I believe. It looked like a 4-4-3-3 at certain points. But I also think that Ryan Moore, one of the most prolific and informed players in Trinidad and Tobago right now, should be starting over Malcolm Shaw. I believe Brent Sam, one of Trinidad's most prolific goal scorers, as well as Nathaniel James, should all be starting. He should be trying to find a way to start all these players together. I understand that, you need people on the bench to come and make an impact, but I think the way that Trinidad started off the game yesterday, they need a lot more rhythm at the start. And I think, like I said, with those local-based players having played together, playing against each other, the chemistry that they have and the communication that they have, it's a lot better than having the mix of foreign-based and local-based players. So hopefully we see that in the coming games, and hopefully on Sunday, Sunday, I believe, against El Salvador, Trinidad really make some changes and they have a good performance and get a positive result.
Well, looking forward to your commentary and analysis following that game. Enrique, thanks so much for your time this morning, and looking forward to what's to come.
Yeah, thank you.
All that. WSN sports correspondent Enrique Rupert, they're giving us an analysis of what took place last night, what needs to be done differently as we head into that game. A more difficult game, one would say, a tougher game, and perhaps more strategic opponents for TNT when they face El Salvador on Sunday. That in no way, though, downplays how Curacao really dominated the game last night. 67% of possession speaks a lot. Because again, on paper, people were saying it's Curacao, there's not much to worry about or be concerned of. Well, boy, were we all proven wrong last night. But anyway, nevertheless, 3 points is 3 points, and congratulations to the men's team nonetheless. And hopefully, this is just a warm-up of a lot more good things to come. We take a break here on AM Prime, and when we return, well, guess what? We continue with some more conversations.
is the WESN News on the Hour. I'm Sira Ali. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Work on the Cabo Star should be completed in 10 days. Central Bank confirmed that 3 companies have been officially registered to operate as electronic money. And internationally, Egypt set to reduce childbirths. Now for the details. The Central Bank has confirmed that 3 companies, which were previously granted provisional status, have now been officially registered to operate as electronic money issuers in the country. These companies are Paywise Limited, the Telecommunication Services of Trinidad and Tobago, and Pesh Money Limited. This registration became effective on September 1st. Chairman of the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, Lyle Alexander, says work on the Cabo Star should be completed in 10 days. Speaking at a media briefing this morning, Mr. Alexander said the engine work on the vessel has been completed. What remains to be done now is cable work. He explained that they estimate this week to be completed around the 17th or 18th of September. He said this is one of the busiest seasons the port has had for travel between the islands in 5 years. Internationally, Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has said the country needs to slow down its birth rate to avoid a catastrophe. He said that Egypt had to lower its annual births to 400,000 from the current more than 2 million for the country to efficiently provide jobs and social services to its citizens. Mr. al-Sisi also faulted remarks by Khalid Abdel Ghaffar, Egypt's Health and Population Minister, that having children is a matter of complete freedom. Well, that's news to the hour on WESN. I'm Sira Ali. Thanks for watching.
We exposed 5 strangers to KFC's delicious chicken to see if any time could be KFC time. And at the first bite, the party began. We repeated the experiment during the day, during business hours, on weekends, with sunshine, with rain. And it's confirmed. KFC's flavor makes anytime KFC time. KFC, it's finger licking good.
You gave us the inspiration to be first. We gave you the solutions that put you first. You walked with us side by side, and we continued to serve you with pride. First Citizens celebrates with you 30 years of achieving dreams, shaping success stories, and painting brighter futures together. And together, we'll accomplish so much more. First Citizens, together, 30 and beyond.
Welcome back to the program. It's Friday, and what better way to end this week than speaking about sweet TNT? And we've spoken a lot about inspiration this morning, and now we can speak a bit more about TNT and celebrating our country. And I'm joined by an individual who has always seen a positive aspect of things, and certainly has given others a positive viewpoint of many things. Even a mosquito bite, El Poquito, this place have too much mosquito. Listen, Crazy's with us in this Zoom. Good morning, Crazy, Uncle Crazy. Welcome to the program.
Good morning to all the people out there, to WESN, and good morning. Thanking the Lord for waking me up this morning. You know what is always do that. Yeah.
Crazy, you're always... It seems as though your energy is never down. You're always in a celebratory mood. You always, exude a lot of happiness. How do you do such? That's quite a remarkable thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I born in a family that is like that. You see, they hear the name Ayong. Our family, everybody, the whole family like that. Everybody always jovial and we like to laugh. That's why we live long. I think that the secret for long life is laughing, and not worrying. I mean, you have to worry sometimes, but laughing is the key to long life. So that is how we are. We always laughing. you see, what's that? What's that? That is long life. I go in for 100 and change,
But it's one thing to be laughing all the time. It's another thing to make others feel that sort of happiness and that sense of laughter.
True, yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do, but you do it.
So right now, I'm singing songs next year. Next year we have Carnival, and so my songs will be humorous. Songs to make people laugh, and so that is why we live long. All my family, we make 80s, 90s, 100s. We have the record for long life.
Crazy. Also, you've always taken laughter is one thing. Even in your calypso, you've taken and even your soca parang, you've been known especially for your soca parang, and taking a comedic look at it and always finding the laughter in it. I mean, why have you gone down that particular avenue? It's commentary, but with a twist, I suppose.
Because nobody else doing it. Very few people do it or could do it. Very few people could do it, and I am one of the persons who do it. Who do it to stay alive, because it's very rare people do songs like that. I also do serious things. Most of my songs in these times, as I get older, not older, we say younger. It's things that I do, singing songs about the future. You remember the song I sang in 2000, a song by the name of "In Time to Come"?
Yes.
In time to come, America will have a black president. Yes. I tend to sing songs about the future. Like the COVID. We had the COVID, right? Now, after the COVID, now we have we have something again coming. Things always come in one after the next. So I just be doing things like that, singing about the future. I have a song right now named Perilous Times, is about the future. Then I have The Awakening, with the man, when I went to China, I met the man who created the COVID, And when I asked him, I had a conversation with him, and I asked him, I said, what make you cause this COVID to bring this COVID? He said the world wanted cooling down, calm down. The world wanted to be calmed down because things wasn't going good. So that is why he bring the COVID. So I tend to write songs of that nature, Next year we have some other things coming up, Next year we have some songs that
Crazy.
Sure people will be.
Let me speak to you about that in regard to your writing now and how your writing has evolved. You've been around since the 70s. You've been singing and performing since the 70s. And even now, as you mentioned, the last few years, you focus a lot more on the future. What are your thoughts on Trinidad and Tobago's future? And as I said, you've been performing since the 70s. How have you seen TNT Society, from your standpoint, from your viewpoint, evolve?
First, to begin with, I did since 1965. I am the first band singer. Like here you see Orchestra and Marshall now have a band. I am the first band singer from Trinidad and Tobago. I used to sing with Mano Maslin. Most of the young people wouldn't know what I'm speaking about. In 1965, the bands that play in fetes and things were only brass bands like Ray Sylvester, Mano Maslin, Fitzvaughn, Bryan. I used to sing with Mano Maslin because we used to work together. So I am singing since 1965. I wasn't a calypsonian as yet, singing in the calypso tent. So I am there since 65, but I started singing calypso in the tent in 1972. So now how I see Trinidad, right now the whole world, not only Trinidad, right now the whole world in turmoil. So but I see in Trinidad we have to make some changes. We have to make some changes in order for things to get better. So.
What changes do you suppose that is? I mean,
it's the crime situation. We have to try and stop that crime situation from continuing. Yeah. So I believe that is one of the problems right now, that crime situation. Look, it's 400 and something people already, 401, I think, you know.
Yeah.
So if we could cut down on that, you know, that only the crime situation, if you could get that under control, that would be great. You know.
Crazy. Let's go back to how you started off. I mean, you showed signs from a very early age, a very promising cricketer, but you chose music instead. How? How?
I play cricket. I play cricket for a team named Crompton. You know, that's India. I play against Frank Worrell in the University of the West Indies. I play against David Alford. I play against Andy Gantum, Willie Rodriguez, Brian Davis. You know, this was Charlie Davis was my friend. You know, the young people might know this fella they're calling here. But I used to play cricket together with Ron Faria. People might remember Ron Faria. You know, that after Ian Bishop came and Ian Bishop joined the same club I was playing for in the Queen's Park Savannah. He was a very young fella. You know, I played with Stanley Stewart. Stanley Stewart was the captain of the team. And I played cricket, and after that, well, I ended up singing calypso, you know.
You ever have regrets about that though at all? I mean, yes, you've been doing this for decades, but you ever felt as though that you would have preferred to go into cricket, have a career in cricket, and then later on in life, get into calypso?
Well, I had the potential as a cricketer. I had the potential of making a West Indies team as an opening batsman. I also used to bowl a very good off break. So I thought I might have made the Trinidad. I was on the Trinidad Colts team in 1962. That was on the Trinidad Tobago Colts team. But I played one game. That was in the days of Charlie Davis and the Allion, you know. That was in that era. Mm-hmm. But after that, it was so happened that the calypso vibes hit me because I had my favorite calypsonians like the Mighty Spoiler and Blicky. I fallen in love with calypso due to these calypsonians. And then people used to tell me, you have a good voice, where to start singing, you know. And that is how I started the calypso thing. Look, I'm still in it. And look, I have things coming up for next year. I can't wait for next year to come. Plus, I can't wait for the Parang season to come because the Parang will not start this Saturday. This Saturday, the Parang will be in Lions. You know, we're starting the Parang thing off. So I'm looking forward.
Now, you're also, I think, a bit of history here. You started off with the stage name Wong Ping, and then even Mighty Arawak. And you were given this name crazy.
In those days, if you want to be a calypsonian, because a friend of mine, he wrote the first calypso I sang. His name is Calypso Height. You know, he tried to get me in a calypso tent. That is all around 1969. You know, mm-hmm. So you have to get a calypso name. But I didn't want it to carry the name Edwin Ayong. So we were looking for a name like the Royal Lion or something. So I started, a fellow said, well, why do you call yourself the Mighty Inspector or the Lord Cobra? I said, well, I don't resemble no Cobra, you know. So this so happened that we came across the name Craze. I was supposed to be CRAZE. And it so happened that when they picked me, when I went down by the Faro Young Brigade tent, they picked me there because they liked my voice. I was singing a song that I was singing a song named Chinaman. I am the man, it is called Chinaman. And the fella said, but this man have a good voice. You find a song like Baron, but Baron was singing in the same tent. So they picked me through that. But when they picked me, asked me, say, what name you would sing? I said, well, I would like my name to be Craze, CRAZE. And they say, all right. But what that happened? The girl who typed out the word, she put CRAZ and she misprint 2 E's at the end, you know, and it sounded like crazy. So everybody started calling me crazy. I tell them, no, it's crazy. I'm the latest crazy in town. So that name stick on me, you know, and when that name stick on me, I was looking out to get it popular. So I used to go up St. Anne's Hospital, because I say, if you're calling me crazy, I might get popular in St. Anne's Hospital. And I used to go up there, and then they invited me to come and sing, and then I said, this is crazy. The people in the sentence, some of the mad people and things, used to get excited, and they used to come along. And the newspapers men come and pick that up, and I say, well, let me keep the crazy one time. And that's how it's
But and surely has worked out well, craze versus crazy. But is your personality reflective of the title, or rather, have you always been crazy? Have you always had this energetic, extravagant personality?
No, I wasn't always crazy. It's the name when people started calling me crazy. Is that well, I start getting crazy because I start doing things like I'm climbing up on Cipriani's statue, and that get me more popular now because I was launching an album in 1978 named Crazy Super Album, and I said the only way I can get it out there is it's Friday evening in Port of Spain. There's a lot of people, so I went there in pajamas because if you're crazy and you're from St. Anne's Hospital, you will wear pajamas, people wear pajamas. And I went and climb up on Lord Nelson's statue, and I sold 8,000 albums. In those days was these big albums.
Yeah.
And that is how the Parang Soca was born too. Parang Soca was born at that time when I launched that album. It had a song on it named Parang Soca, which was the first Parang Soca that we ever had in Trinidad, which was, I took the role of lead singer, Maria, which is 45 years old today, and that started a new genre of music in Trinidad and Tobago. Named Parang Soca, you could call it Soca Parang. And I did it all by myself for 2 years. For 2 years I sang that, and the next year I sang a song named Muchacha.
Yeah.
Muchacha, I sang that. And then in the next year in 1980, Francine came, Francine was the second person to start doing that song. Hooray, hooray, hoorah, hoorah, hoorah. Yes, she came with that. And
how was Eddie Grant's label? I think that was Ice Records. How did that help with your career?
Well, I was the first Calypsonian of Calypso to be on Eddie Grant Ice label, to be on Eddie Grant. Eddie Grant decided to do Calypso, record Calypso on the Ice label due to a song I have named Dustbin Cover.
Mm-hmm.
It's a song that I did in collaboration with a manager, a very good manager, a fellow by the name of Gary Daw. Some people will be familiar with that name here in Trinidad. At that time, he used to manage me, and we came up with this Dustbin Cover idea. Now, when Eddie Grant heard it, Eddie Grant said, look, I'm going to record this. Now, this is 1978, 1977, because it came out in 1978. And Eddie Grant said, he was even made the March Crash show, the same song. I run second to Calypso Rose. Calypso Rose won the crown that year, and I run second to her, And Eddie Grant was in the Savannah playing keyboard for me with that same song, And in those days, the Savannah now, the Savannah, the grandson of the North Stand, it used to be packed with people there, packed to capacity, not like now. Now it is so, the crowd will be so big.
Why do you think that is the case, Crazy? Why do you think the crowd isn't as big anymore?
Because the soca music come and take over, and then we don't have no more Stalin, we don't have no more Sparrow, we don't have no more Kitchener,
Does that speak to the talent of young people in TNT and young Calypsonians?
Well, most of the young people right now, this is what I'm trying to do now, get some of the young people back involved in the Calypso. Because most of the young people now turn into soca, because soca easy to get into. Because all you have to do in soca now is the billing beats now. You build a fast rhythm, and you just put words on top of it. Oh yes, we go jamchi, oh God. So it's easy to jump on the bandwagon, and that is what they're playing on the radio now. The Calypso now, in the times when I was there with Stalin, Juke, you have to compose your song. You have to go and get a guitar, either a guitar or a keyboard, and form a chord structure, and then put a melody. You don't have that again right now. The music easier to do in these times. music easier to do, like in the days of Merchant, you know. He was a genius in with strumming the guitar and composing songs on that. Men like Joker the Veins and you know. So the times change now. And most of the calypsos now we need to do a lot of more humor and most of the calypsos now more aiming at you know, the politics now, the political field.
Yeah.
Yeah, more there.
So let's also speak about another side of crazy that many people won't know, and that is you've also been in theatre. You've acted, I think, in Snow Cone and the Seven.
Derek Walcott. You see, I used to work with Helen Camps. Derek Walcott. You know Derek Walcott, who won the Nobel Prize. Yeah. I worked with them, and in 1978, when the Trinidad Tent Theatre went all over Europe. There are 3 calypsonians there with them, which is Relator was there, Superior, myself, a young man myself. We did shows in Little Carib Theatre, you know, with Beryl McBurney.
But you went across Europe as well. You traveled across Europe as well.
Yeah, we went to France, Spain, Germany. We went to all these places, you know. We went to all these places, but I more used to do acting. I used to sing too, but I used to do more like acting. You know, because we did a movie. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with a movie named Bacchanal Time, where Shadow was in it. Shadow was one of the actors. Rose was there, but I and Shadow did most of the acting. And some people love the movie, you know, because it had a lot of humor in the movie. And the name of the movie is Bacchanal Time.
It's crazy. Yeah. What I mean, the name itself, as you said, you were always crazy, but the name stuck and you gained a lot of inspiration from the name and what people were referring to you as. Well, what keeps you going even now? What keeps you pushing through? I mean, what inspiration does TNT give you now as an artist?
Yeah, well, you see, what happened is, what I did was, when they say crazy, no, crazy in the eyes of people is not a good thing, you know. Some people look at crazy as a bad thing but what I did was I take crazy, that word crazy, and make it good, you know, that good crazy and bad crazy. So I am a good crazy, I am the good crazy, not the bad one. Yeah, but what made me think, like the future, what I am doing now is trying to bring back Calypso to like how it was, because just recently I did shows in London.
I think we lost you for more there.
I was in London, I did shows in Canada, and I also was there for Labor Day. And most of the things, I think I am the only one out there that's singing Calypso on these big shows. You know, I sing Progress, you know, that #1 Calypso. Today, when I look around in the world, what is happening in the world today, I sang Progress, I sang In Time to Come, a song that I sang in 2000, where I predicted that America will have a black president. Mm-hmm. I sing Sparrow Education to keep Calypso alive, because everybody now out there performing on the international scene, only doing like the party thing, party. So nobody out there singing really Calypso, you know.
So then, crazy. Do you see that as something that you want to take responsibility for?
Yes, I want to take responsibility. Yes, I want to take responsibility as a person. You know, before I die, I have a song named "Before I Die." You must listen to that too. As a person who take Calypso out of the doldrums, you know, and have young people like the young Calypsonians that winning Calypso Monarch. They don't get a chance to perform outside. Like 30 years ago, when Sparrow, Duke, Stalin, you know, Baron, me, as soon as Carnival over, we used to have a lot of shows all over the Caribbean, you know, and that don't happen anymore. So I want to take responsibility to be the one who bring back Calypso and have the young Calypso Monarch going and doing shows all over. This is what I'm promoting now. Mm-hmm. You know, and be telling them, yeah, Calypso is the mother of soca, and calypso is the mother of reggae. Some people want to know why I'm saying reggae, you know. Calypso is the mother of reggae because calypso was there first.
Yeah.
Bob Marley said that.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube,
Bob Marley, Jimmy Cliff, they all said it.
They all said that calypso is our mother. So that is what I'm promoting out there now, you know. And I sing calypso. And next year I'll be doing calypsos. Every 40 years in Trinidad and Tobago, we always have a big song, a big calypso. And I think that I got it next year. I wouldn't call the name of the song, but you know.
Not giving us any hints as yet?
Yeah, I wouldn't call the name right now because you know sometimes fellas say, yeah, you say something and they write something alongside that. So I wouldn't mention the name now. But I think next year, I just predict. I think next year I have a big calypso. Calypso that it might even cause controversy. Because you know sometimes when you cause controversy, your song just get bigger, you know. Yeah, but I dealing with facts. I dealing with things that could really happen, you know. Things that could really happen.
As time goes along, do you find it easier to compose calypsos, given that these days, I mean, life is dominated by so many things that all boil down to just very few topics or aspects that makes up TNT society. Do you find it more difficult as time goes along or a lot more easier when composing your songs?
It's natural. It's natural. See, like right now, it's natural to write. See, sometimes you're in a mood where you want to do something humorous, or you want to do something serious, or you want to do a party song, you know. So for me, it's just a natural thing, you know. I have my ideas and I look at my computer right here. So my thing is a natural thing for me to always have songs. I have like about 18 songs right now, just sitting down there. So sometimes when somebody call me and ask me, crazy, but I want a song for next year. A lot of ladies just call me because they want a song for next year. I have songs there to give them, you know. I have songs there for that I can give people to sing. Mm-hmm. So it's no problem for me. I always have material, and it always have things in Trinidad here to sing about. Mm-hmm. You know, look, I am like I beat my wife. You know, if you say I beat my wife, you know how that song to you? I beat my wife. That's the name of the song. That
sounds rather controversial and risky.
No, well, I beat my wife. You know why I beat my wife? Eh? She feel that she could run faster than me, right? I love my wife. Eh? and you know, yeah, she could run faster than me. So when I say, all right, she was when we playing cards, right? When we playing cards, we playing Rumi, I beat she, you know? So that is the kind of beating she just get. No violence, you know? So
I am yet to see it, but do you ever feel a sense of hurt, anger, disappointment, frustration? And does that come into play in your songs as well?
Yeah, frustration? No, I don't. I don't think about that. You know? Maybe that is why I live it so long. I do. If frustration come in my way, I just move away from that. As I say, I'm in bad company, and I don't allow that to take over my spirit. I don't allow that frustration. I always I have a way. I don't know. Like God bless me with that. Just stay away from this thing. When frustration comes through, I just go the next way. So I believe that I have that. You know, that is why I'm looking so young. Look at me. See? That I changed my hairstyle and all. You know, I have an afro now. You see? So frustration don't take over my soul. My thing is love, and I'm helping people. Yeah, I help a lot of people. Every day I help 12 people. Sometimes I just go down the road there, give food, the fellas that have people asking for things. I just help them, regardless of who they are. You know?
So let me ask you now, in your eyes, given all that you've said, what makes Trinidad and Tobago sweet?
Well, for me, you see, Christmas time, I'm looking forward to Saturday coming with the beginning of the parang. Well, for me, You know what make Trinidad sweet is like a parang no starts. That making Trinidad good for me, and also like going in. I usually go to homes like children events. I usually go to for the elderly. I usually visit the blind institute. You know, these type of things. That is what make Trinidad nice for me, making people happy, going in and singing songs like songs like. Sometimes I go on a show and I say, what do I want to hear? Sometimes the people say, well, we want to hear that anyway. So I will give them a little thing. No rudeness, because, at my age, I'll stop all this kind of rude thing, and, I don't want to do that no more.
Crazy, is it easy? Is it easy, or is it at times challenging to be a patriot?
Yeah, well, I have a song on that too. You fall in the garden with my song, A True Patriot. A True Patriot. It's not challenging for me. Not challenging for me, but maybe for other people. It's not challenging. You have to be strong. You have to be strong to be a true patriot, because you have people coming at you all the time, and I have a way to deal with that. So it's no problem for me. Let me say just a true patriot. Watch. Let me just show you something. What? P-A-T-R.
I mean, this is remarkable, ladies and gentlemen. We're having a full conversation with Crazy this morning.
Yeah. Watch. I just want to show you.
Go for it.
I just want to show you what was a true patriot. What's that, right? Patriot. Let me tell you what a true patriot is. Is what I call a true patriot. A true patriot. I have it written down here. Look at here. Yeah. Do you want to hear what I'm saying here? Right? I want the people to hear this. And this is a song that I ain't singing yet. And look, I have it on the drawing board here. Right? Patriotism is truly an exceptional virtue. Yeah? If you do not love your country, do expect it to love you. If your country going under because of a weak system, is you who must make it better. Stand up and sing the anthem. So I say to everybody, let it not be for.
Wait, hold on, Chris. You're still there. You're muted. I think you might. You're back. You're back.
Eh?
No, we missed a bit of it. We missed a bit of it because you were muted for a moment there.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Hear this. Hear it. Yeah. The true patriotism asks not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. A patriot is one who adds value to its national patrimony, must be willing to put country first, no matter what the circumstances. Even if conditions are adverse, be prepared to make sacrifices. Hold on real tight and never let go, for that is life on this earth. Say what? All you have to do is stand up and show that you are a true patriot. This is the kind of song that I do.
Yeah. So, Crazy, before we bid a goodbye just for today, because I look forward to a lot more conversations. It's your season. Christmas season is obviously starting from this Saturday. But what would you like to see happening here in TNT? You say you're taking responsibility to push the Calypso and keep Calypso alive because it's the mother. But and you've spoken even about crime. You've spoken about looking at the positive aspect of life and always not taking on the stress of others, removing yourself from that negativity. What more does Crazy want to experience, and what does he want to see happening for TNT?
Well, I want to see the economy come back and play. I want to see the crime stop. I want to see everybody living in unity. I want the race thing to stop, because I have all the races in me, Father is a Chinese man, my mother from Venezuela, African, Indian. I have all the races. So I would like to see that happening, what's happening to me, all these Kalalu mixed here. I would like to see that happening here in Trinidad, where the Indians, Africans, and they unite, you know.
Yeah.
That is my thing. This racism thing had to stop. I also have tunes coming out with that type of thing, you know. So I would like to see that racism stop, and everybody living in love and unity, so everybody could live longer, and Trinidad could be the number one in the world again. We were once number one in the Caribbean, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still there, but you know, we lose a lot of marks. But we could get back. We could get back there. With the things that I'm saying here, we could get back there to be the number one in the Caribbean. So that is what I would like to see.
And perhaps on a different note, we'd like to see the grandstand be filled once more.
You see the grandstand when it's Calypso, when the Calypso Monarch, maybe this year it might be full when people come into here, this big song that I have. Mark my word, I want the people who listening to remember what I'm telling you all about this song that I have. Sorry, I couldn't sing a piece because there are people out there might take my idea.
Don't worry.
It's an idea that's rare. It's an idea that is rare. You know, if I never had a calypso like that before. This is what I do. I do things like according to that. This is what I like Michael Jackson for. Michael Jackson say, always do things that you see everybody doing that. Don't do that. You go somewhere else. Like everybody now going on the, you know, the calm down, baby, calm down. Everybody now jumping on that Afro thing, right? But I am not doing it. I want to do my own thing. Let people follow me. You know, I am not a follower. I am a leader. You know, so this is how I see it. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. We look forward to what is to come for 2024. That release. That song, and you've given us that hint this morning, that promise there's going to be something different, to look out for that. But Uncle Crazy, as you were affectionately known, thank you this morning.
Come in now, I want an interview. You say that, you know, somebody was knocking the window here by me. You know? And I would like to thank Sarah Ali. You know, Sarah Ali who organized this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to thank her, you know, for bringing me on and letting people know what's going on with Crazy and how Crazy, look out for Crazy next year. Not next year, this Parang thing too. All who coming down in Lions Saturday, if you're coming down in Lions, I will be there because I am going to support the beginning of the Parang. I wouldn't say season because Parang is no longer seasonal. Parang is all through the year now.
Yeah.
We have Parang in July, we have Parang in September, we have Parang in October, you know.
Crazy. So, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much this morning.
Yeah, man, I'm not big up WESN doing a good job, and you too, you know.
Thank you very much. That's certainly an honor.
Yes, man. All right.
God bless Crazy. Have a good one. Take care.
That's a crazy sign. This is a crazy thing. See, this is how crazy it is. That is why I live long. That's madness is gladness.
I was waiting for it, huh?
You see the laughing there?
Yeah.
You continue doing that. If you want to live long like me, you continue laughing. Yeah?
I will.
All right, crazy.
Take care. Have a good one. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for the madness is gladness. I'm glad we got it in the end, ladies and gentlemen. That is a most fitting way to end this show. It was always a privilege. And what a great conversation we had this morning. Thank you so much for Crazy for joining us on WESN. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great weekend ahead. Maybe a grand one, maybe a safe one. And should all go well, we certainly hope it does. We'll see you again on Monday morning from 6 a.m. for some more AM Prime. Until then, take care.
WE